Former battlefields turned paradise, when heaven was once hell. When people think of travel, they often imagine sunny beaches, crystal clear waters, and that relaxing sense of escape from the busy world. However, few realize that behind the breathtaking beauty of many globally famous destinations lies a blood-soaked past. From the peaceful shores of Normandy, France, to the legendary land of Sparta in Greece, the scars of war have been etched into nearly every corner of the planet. So, the next time you find yourself strolling along a white sandy beach under a glowing sunset, pause for a moment and wonder, could this very spot once have been a place where thousands of soldiers shed their blood in a historic battle? Okinawa, Japan, the island paradise that was once a living hell. Nestled among the thousands of islands that form Japan's archipelago, Okinawa stands out not only for its natural beauty but also for its proud and painful past. Although it is the smallest of Japan's main islands and more sparsely populated than Honshu or Kyushu, Okinawa attracts millions of visitors each year. This is thanks to its unique blend of native Ryukyu culture, breathtaking coastlines, and a history as rich as it is tragic. One of the darkest chapters in Okinawa's history is the Battle of Okinawa, which raged from April to June 1945. It was the final and bloodiest battle of the Pacific Theater during World War II. Even after the war in Europe had officially ended, American and Japanese forces continued to clash ferociously on this small island. More than 310,000 lives were lost during the conflict, about 160,000 soldiers and nearly 150,000 civilians. Almost half of Okinawa's population at the time, it remains one of the deadliest and most heartbreaking events in Japan's wartime history. For 3 relentless months, nowhere on the island was safe. From postcard-perfect beaches to quiet rural villages, all became targets of artillery, machine guns, and bombings. Among the most iconic sites of this battle is the infamous Hacksaw Ridge, a place immortalized by the story of an unarmed soldier named Desmond Doss. A devout Christian and conscientious objector, Doss refused to carry a weapon but joined the battle as a combat medic. Under terrifying conditions, he single-handedly saved approximately 75 wounded men by lowering them down a sheer 400-foot cliff using a rope stretcher, all while Japanese shells exploded around him. Today, Okinawa has returned to its serene and peaceful self. Visitors can scuba dive among vibrant coral reefs, sunbathe on powdery white beaches, or explore well-preserved war memorials. Yet for those who know the island's history, every step taken here is a silent tribute, a reminder that this paradise was once the crossroads of life and death for hundreds of thousands of people. Thermopylae, a peaceful hot spring on a land once soaked in blood. Today, if you ever have the chance to set foot in Thermopylae, a famous region in central Greece, you'll find yourself immersed in the tranquil beauty of nature, where natural hot springs have flowed for thousands of years. These geothermal springs are the reason behind the name, Thermopylae, which means hot gates in ancient Greek. Legend even says that Heracles, the mythical hero of Greek mythology, once bathed here to recover after his grueling battles. However, rewind more than 2 millennia, specifically to the year 480 BC, and you might not recognize this peaceful land. Back then, Thermopylae was the site of one of the bloodiest and most iconic battles in the conflict between Greece and the Persian Empire. A battle forever etched in history as a symbol of bravery and ultimate sacrifice. In this brutal conflict, King Leonidas I of Sparta led a coalition of warriors from Sparta, Boeotia, and other Greek city-states, holding a narrow mountain pass at Thermopylae to block the advance of the massive Persian army commanded by King Xerxes I. At the time, the pass was only about 100 meters wide and lay close to the sea, offering the Greek forces a tremendous natural defensive advantage. Today, due to over 2,000 years of land and sediment accumulation, the Thermopylae Pass now lies about 9 kilometers inland, and the surrounding terrain is far flatter than it was in antiquity. But even though the landscape has changed, the memory of that heroic battle remains vivid in the hearts of generations. What makes Thermopylae legendary is the staggering imbalance in force. The Greek forces numbered only in the thousands, while the Persian army may have numbered in the hundreds of thousands. When Xerxes sent an ultimatum demanding surrender, Leonidas is said to have responded with the defiant words, "Molen labe, come and take it." The battle raged for 3 days, with the turning point arriving when a Greek named Ephialtes betrayed his countrymen by revealing a secret mountain path to the Persians, allowing them to flank the Greek forces. Surrounded and vastly outnumbered, Leonidas and his elite warriors fought to the death, sacrificing themselves with honor to defend their homeland. According to the historian Herodotus, the Persians suffered an estimated 20,000 casualties, while the Greeks lost between 2,000 and 4,000 men, a noble and unforgettable sacrifice. Today, visitors to Thermopylae come not only to soak in the healing thermal waters but also to visit the statue of Leonidas, a monument honoring the legendary hero and a battle that left a permanent mark on the Greek national identity. Standing there, surrounded by serene nature, one can feel the striking contrast between past and present, where once a raging inferno of war erupted, now lies a peaceful place of reflection and relaxation. Barcelona, Spain, a travel gem steeped in the shadows of war. Today, Barcelona is a radiant gem on the shores of the Mediterranean, famed for Geta's unique architecture, lively flamenco performances, and the bustling energy of Las Ramblas. However, behind the dazzling charm of this tourist hotspot lies a past that was written in smoke and blood. Few people know that Barcelona was once the site of intense conflict during multiple chapters of Spain's turbulent history. One place visitors should explore to better understand that history is Montjuïc Hill, a high, strategic landmark overlooking the entire city. Sitting atop it is the Montjuïc Castle, a fortress that played a vital role in centuries of conflict. Originally built as a simple defensive outpost, the structure evolved over time into a formidable fortress, one that bore witness to fierce battles, from the Catalan Revolt to the Spanish Civil War in the 20th century. One of the most significant confrontations was the Battle of Montjuïc in 1641, which erupted during the fierce Catalan uprising against the Madrid government. At the time, an alliance of Catalan militias and French troops held the castle, aiming to repel an assault by the Spanish army. Thanks to their elevated position and solid fortifications, they successfully used heavy artillery to push back the enemy, inflicting major losses. This victory was not only a military milestone but also a powerful symbol of Catalonia's enduring desire for autonomy. Today, as you ride the cable car up to Montjuïc and take in sweeping views of Barcelona, it's hard to imagine that this peaceful place was once engulfed in smoke and gunfire. But as you walk the grounds of the fortress, past ancient stone walls that once trembled with the roar of cannons, the past and present seem to intertwine. Montjuïc is more than just a sightseeing destination. It is a space for reflection on the history and struggles that helped shape the Barcelona we know today. Manila Bay, a peaceful tourist destination once the fierce battlefield of the 19th century. Today, Manila, the bustling capital of the Philippines, attracts travelers with its unique blend of history, vibrant cuisine, and stunning beaches. One of its most iconic landmarks is Manila Bay, a renowned natural harbor long hailed as one of the most ideal in the world, not just for its beauty, but also for its strategic importance in history. Each evening, both tourists and locals can be seen strolling leisurely along the bayfront, enjoying fresh seafood as the ocean breeze sweeps in. Yet few realize that the very spot where they now take in peaceful views was, over a century ago, the site of one of the most pivotal naval battles of the modern era, the Battle of Manila Bay in 1898. A turning point that signaled the collapse of Spanish colonial power in the Philippines after nearly 400 years of rule. The spark for the war was the explosion of the USS Maine in Havana Harbor, Cuba, in February 1898, which claimed the lives of 260 American sailors. Though the cause of the explosion was never definitively proven, the United States blamed Spain, igniting a wave of outrage among the American public. On April 25 of that year, war was officially declared between the United States and Spain. Across the Pacific, the U.S. government immediately ordered Commodore George Dewey to launch a campaign to destroy the entire Spanish naval fleet stationed in the Philippines. To prevent any reinforcements, in the early hours of May 1, 1898, Dewey's fleet quietly entered Manila Bay under the cover of darkness. Taking advantage of the element of surprise, he launched a full-scale attack before the Spanish could even mount a proper defense. In just a few hours, under a barrage of precise American artillery fire, the entire Spanish fleet was sunk or completely destroyed. Dewey then sent an ultimatum to the Spanish governor in Manila, demanding surrender and permission for the U.S. to use telegraph systems for communication, offering, in return, a pledge not to attack the city itself. The outcome of the battle was staggering. Hundreds of Spanish troops were killed, while the U.S. suffered virtually no significant losses, fewer than 10 American fatalities. This victory dealt a severe blow to the Spanish Empire and marked a major turning point in the Philippines' long path toward reclaiming self-determination. Today, as you stand before the dazzling sunset over Manila Bay, it's hard to imagine that this serene place was once engulfed in the fire and smoke of war. But if you pause for just a moment, you might picture the roar of cannons and the silhouette of warships slowly sinking beneath the waves. Across the world, there are countless modern tourist destinations that were once soaked in blood, places where history was written in the language of gunfire and sacrifice. Though many have been completely transformed, the stories buried beneath their calm surfaces still linger, waiting for someone to stop and listen, reminders that the past, whether distant or near, is always present.